So, welcome to the presentation about the MBS FileMaker Plugin. My name is Christian Schmitz. I'm the CEO of Monkeybread Software, and we have been specialized in creating custom software for the last 19 years, and for the last 12 years we are developing a FileMaker plugin. The MBS plugin currently has 5,900 functions, and we are adding new functions as people request new features. So currently we have 300 new functions this year already, and we are going to add a lot of more. So if you have any wishes, please send us an email. When you download the plugin, you get over 500 example databases which you can explore, and maybe the thing you need is just in one of the examples and you can copy a script and modify it. The MBS plugin is delivered as one plugin file, which makes installation and updating easy. Only the parts you actively use are loaded and in memory, and so it's not a problem. You can install the plugin manually, or you can use the Install Plugin File Script step to install it automatically on hundreds of computers. We support over 10 years of FileMaker versions, and since May we also support FileMaker 18. The MBS plugin can be used nearly everywhere, so you can use it on your desktop in FileMaker Pro. You can use it on your FileMaker server, including the FileMaker Cloud for AWS. You can use it with the iOS SDK, where you embed the plugin into your own iOS app. And with FileMaker Go, you can use it with Perform Script on server. So the actual work is done on the server, but you can still trigger it from your FileMaker Go solution. A specialty with the MBS plugin is that we only register one function with the FileMaker runtime. So instead of listing 5,000 functions in this little dialog, we just register one function, and the first parameter is the actual function name. Same for our MBS script step. And here you see an example line where we call the run script function and pass in parameters so we can trigger a script in a different file. Today I don't want to tell you about all the functions we have. That would take hours. But I want to just tell you what's new in the plugin and what's the most used functions. So we extensively use the curl library for HTTP, FTP, SFTP transfers, so we can upload and download files. We have a lot of options for encryption, for transport layer security, so you can use client-side certificates as you need them for a few web services. We have support for proxies and a lot of authentication options. Our transfers can run synchronously in the script, like with FileMakers, insert from URL, or we can run them in the background, so the user interface doesn't need to wait for the transfer to finish. It's also good to run several transfers in parallel. We can include custom headers and custom requests with the transfer, so you can do all kinds of special things like doing a delete command for FTP or moving an email to a different folder. We support various web services with SOAP and REST APIs, including examples for Amazon S3, for example, where we do the authentication for you, for AWS services, and also doing open authentication if you need it. And finally, we can send a web form without using a web viewer, so you can automatically send data to your PHP scripts. We have a lot of functions around emailing, so we can send an email with multiple attachments, with embedded inline graphics, with HTML text, and we have a nice example to batch email a lot of emails to a big group like a newsletter. By using parallel transfers and reusing the connection, we skip the logins and can send emails much faster than if you would send one after the other. We can receive emails via IMAP and POP3 protocols, And we got recently a nice email client example which loads the list of emails, shows you the email as a preview with embedded images, and puts all the attachments into separate records so you can post-process the email if you want. We have a couple of PDF we have PDF functions, and we use both the PDFKit library from Apple on Mac and iOS, and for cross-platform projects we have the DynaPDF library available. Both can do basic stuff like merging PDFs, like adding your terms of services to your invoices, splitting PDFs so you can put them in individual records. We can render individual pictures from a page, so you can show users just the picture and not the full PDF, so people can't just download the PDF on a website. We can print PDF documents for you with PDFKit on Mac and DynaPDF on Windows, where you can print without or with a dialog. We can extract the text of a PDF page, and we can add new pages if needed. With DynaPDF we can even do more. We can create PDF documents from scratch, completely in a script, without using FileMaker's PDF functions at all. We can convert existing PDFs to PDFA format. So if your client wants to get all the invoices in PDFA format, or you want to archive all the PDFs you get, you can convert them to PDFA format. We also support XML invoices embedded in a PDF document, because that's what you need for the SUQFetch standard in Germany and the FactorX standard in France. And it's for European companies, it's required to send invoices and certain conditions to the government, and those invoices have to be digitally. So no more paper. We can also create form fields. We can fill in the form fields. You can send the form to your customer. They can edit the PDF fields and then send you back the PDF. You can read the form fields and update your records. And if you want, you can put your record ID in a hidden field. We can extract images from PDF documents and also replace existing pictures in the document. If you get regularly PDFs from the same format, where there's an invoice number, for example, on a certain spot on the page, you can tell the plugin to just extract the text of that area with the invoice number. And if you want, you can encrypt the PDF and limit the capabilities to the user so they can't print the PDF or can't edit it. For PDF documents, we can also do find and replace. So we can find some text, replace it with new text. And if you ever implement a search within your document database, you can even show how the words you are looking for on the PDF page by highlighting them with our plugin functions. If you build a PDF from scratch, you can use our table functions to do the layouting. So you can create a table in memory and then output it over several pages. We have functions for annotations, where you can add, query, change annotations. And a special type of annotations are links. So if you have a link on your document and you want to make it clickable for the user, we can do that. And also you can add an index page and have areas where the user can click and jump to other pages or even other documents. We have an example to add page numbers. So after merging several PDFs, you can make a new page numbering over the pages. And we can digitally sign a PDF document. So if your clients want all invoices signed, you can do that with our plugin. And later you can prove that the invoice hasn't been changed after you created it. We also got a PDF optimize command, which recreates the structure of the PDF documents, shrinks images for you if you want, and we can replace duplicate fonts and images with references, so your PDF documents get smaller. Especially if you merge several PDF documents and they all show the same logo, we can just keep one logo and the others are just references. Also, if the PDF was created with InDesign, it may contain data needed to edit the document. We can remove that too. And if you want, we can also convert pictures to grayscale, RGB, or CMYK color spaces. The MBS plugin offers data structures. So we have global variables independent of the database. So you can set them in one file and read them in another file. They preserve the data type. So it's not converted to text, but if you put in a container, you can get back this container. We also have the dictionary, which provides an associative array, where you can store values based on a key. And the lookup is usually faster than a database query, because it's all kept indexed in memory. Our quick list is also a way to keep a list of values indexed in memory. And if you ever have to work with lists with several thousand entries, you will see a big speed improvement if you use the quick list functions. With Matrix, we recently got a two-dimensional array, so you can store values in, well, 2 dimensions, and we also preserve the data type. Then we have continuity camera. That's a nice feature Apple added to macOS 10.14 and iOS 12. You can ask the user to take a picture from your Mac, and then the iOS device from the user will turn into camera mode, and the user can take a picture and you get it back into your container field. You can optionally show the context to a menu to select which device to use. And if you use the option to scan a document, you can take several pictures of several pages and you get it back as one PDF document. And here in the screenshot you see the process where you hold the iPhone or iPad over the paper, and it will automatically show you in yellow which area was identified as a document, and then the document is aligned to be rectangular, and then you get back a PDF later. We have functions to work with Excel files. The good thing is you don't have to have Microsoft Excel installed. You can read and write Excel documents in the old and the new format, and you can add and edit all the content of the documents. So you can define your new fonts, your formats, you can write a few cells on a new sheet, you can add pictures, and we even have those batch functions which allow you to write 1,000 cells in one call to the plugin. This is great to pre-process the Excel documents you want to import into FileMaker, or to post-process those created in FileMaker. Like if you exported something to an Excel document in FileMaker, you may be missing some column headers, and you can add them with our plugin. And most people just have a template for an Excel document where they load the template, fill in the values, and then send it as a report to a client. Then we got the CoreML machine learning functions using the framework from Apple for Mac and iOS, where we can load a model, pass in some parameters as input, like a picture or some text, and get back the result from the model. Here is an example for a model using an image classification model. So we send in a picture and get an idea of what may be on the picture. We have SQL functions within FileMaker. So while we can execute any SQL command you pass us, we can also provide you with insert, delete, and update commands where you don't need to write SQL commands yourself. So you just pass into our insert record function the name of the file, the name of the table, the fields, and the values, and we create the SQL command for you, run it, and you can insert a new record in a different table, in a different file, without switching the layout. Same for deleting or updating. When you are doing the insert record with query, you can make a query with a select command in one table, get some values out of it, and have the plugin insert them in another table. This way you can quickly copy thousands of records with one line. We also can create records based on tab return text or comma separated values. So you give us again the name of the target table and the names of the fields, and we create the records for you. And if you do a select with having the results stored in memory, you can query individual field values in the native data type. so containers or dates do not get converted to text. We also have SQL to other databases. This includes currently 70 different target database systems we can connect to. You can run a script where you connect, you make a select statements on the foreign database, get back some records, then use one of our convenience methods to insert them into the FileMaker database, or the other way around. Like you can have a script running on a server which every 10 minutes makes a connection to your MySQL database for your web shop and looks for the new orders and copies them over into your FileMaker database. And this is completely independent of the ES function in FileMaker. Next we have image editing functions. You can load images in over 20 different formats and convert them into a JPEG or PNG file, whatever you need. You can scale pictures up and down to get nice thumbnails. You can rotate pictures. You can put one picture on top of another picture, maybe add some text on top of it, maybe mirror the picture. You can draw vector graphics like rectangles, circles, polygons, lines, arrows, whatever you need on top of the picture. You can even, with a few functions, get positioning within a picture, like you can look in a scan where's a black line and then maybe decide if you need to rotate your picture or where maybe the barcode is you need to detect. We can work with the metadata, so you can get the GPS coordinates from the EXIF data, for example, and we can convert vector graphics into bitmaps. The MBS plugin has functions for notifications on Mac, iOS and Windows. So you can run in the background and notify the user about something being finished. Or you can schedule a notification to show later when the user needs to be reminded to do some work. Then we have sockets and serial ports. So you can list the serial ports, you can connect to a port, send and receive data. Same with the sockets, where you can connect to a server and transfer the data. And while we have the curl functions for high-level socket operations, this is for low-level socket operation. So if you have a device like a scale, where you need to send a certain byte sequence to get the measurement, you can do that with our functions here. With UDP sockets, we support broadcasting, so you can send a message to all computers in the local network. With server socket, you can even accept incoming connections, like the callback from a phone system when a call is coming in. We have script triggers, so you can be notified when data is arriving on both the sockets and the serial ports. And we have functions for printing. You may want to list the printer and control the print dialog on both Mac and Windows, where you can decide whether you want to switch the printer to a different one, what you want to use as a paper, or which tray to use for getting the paper. On Mac, we can also directly redirect printing to a PDF file and control the page setup dialog, so you can define which paper size is used when you ask FileMaker to make a PDF document. The MBS plugin can scan documents with a flatbed or document feeder scanner. So we support the native APIs on Mac and Windows. So if you have a scanner which works with the image capture application, we can also use the scanner for the plugin. Same if you go in a Windows shop to buy a scanner, if it works in Paintbrush, it will probably also work in our plugin. You can scan with and without dialogs, define the properties you want, like the resolution or the paper size, and then you can do a scan and get back the picture from the scanner. We have examples to convert the scanned pictures to PDF documents, and also we have an OCR engine which may help you to get the text out of the scan. If you want to show a context to a menu in your solution, you can do that with the MBS plugin. So you can have submenus, you can style your entries, add some icons, some color, and decide whether you just want to get back the ID of the menu entry the user shows, or you want to define which script the plugin should trigger when the certain item is chosen. This works for Mac and Windows. We have XML functions. where you can query values from an XML document. And as the plugin can parse XML once and lets you do several queries on the same document in memory, it can be very fast. You can set and get values based on a parse, like with the JSON functions in FileMaker. And we also offer XML validation, so you can validate if your XML is valid before you send it to a web service or save it somewhere. With XPath queries, you can make structured queries to your XML documents to find certain keys which depend on conditions you can write in the query. We also have our JSON XML Import. You pass a piece of JSON or XML to the plugin detects what could be a record there, and then creates you the tables automatically and the fields, so you don't need to define all the tables and fields yourself. And then we create the records. So we import the data into the new tables and fields. If there's a new field showing up in a later XML version, we will add the new field for you. And then you can build your own layouts to actually see the data and work with it. This can be very handy if you don't want to write an XLST file for an XML import, or you just got a big JSON block from a web service. We have shell functions which allow you to run command line tools with the plugin. So you can pass in parameters, set the environment variables you need, pass in some input text and get back the output of the tool. We have triggers, so you can be notified if there's new data coming or if the tool finished in the background. So this can run asynchronously. Your script doesn't need to wait. If it takes too long, you can of course force quit the process, and we have used it in the past, for example with FFmpeg, to transcode videos on the background, zip huge folders in the background again, do a ping to a server to see if the server is still alive, run some Python script, set some preferences with the defaults application on Mac, or even use the FileMaker server admin application to do some actions on the FileMaker server. If you show XML or JSON to the user, you can format it with an MBS plugin. So we have functions to format, to colorize, and to add line numbers. Your users or you yourself, when you are debugging, you may appreciate it. Then recently we got a compare table function. So if you may have a file from today and the file from yesterday, and you may ask yourself, what are the changes made? You can ask the plugin to check both files, check the structure if there are new fields added or fields removed, and then check the records to see what are new records, what are records deleted, and what records changed. And for the changed records, we can even tell you exactly which fields changed with the old and the new value. It's great to compare two states of a database. Then you can use the MBS plugin with the iOS SDK. We have over 3,000 functions already ported for iOS. And we have a lot of iOS-specific functions now. Like you can get a version of the MBS plugin with Health Kit, where you can actually query all the medical stuff from your phone. You can use the StoreKit API to do in-app purchases and ask the user to rate your application. You can use Image Picker to have more control on taking pictures from your camera, or you can just make a new text or SMS email message on the device. We have drag and drop for Mac and Windows, where you can drag several files from the desktop onto the drop area in FileMaker, and this works for several files and even for files generated when you drag them, like the attachments from Outlook. So if you need to receive files from desktop or from another application, please try this, and in the script you can decide what to do. You get a list of the files, or from files delivered in memory you get the container value directly, and you can decide if you want to add it to a record or if you just want to ignore it. MBS plugin can create over 80 types of barcodes. I don't even mind to show you the list, but every barcode you may ever need is there, including even the barcodes for our German post office. We can detect a couple of barcodes from pictures. So if you have a scan made with our scanning function and the paper has a barcode on it, you may just crop the area, pass it to the barcode detector and get back the value. And if you are going to support people in Switzerland, they have a special barcode design for payment data, so they can just scan the barcode with a banking app and make a transfer. We also support Apple Maps with the MapKit functions. So on macOS and iOS, you can show a map on the layout. You can add pins yourself and scale the map to show the areas of the pins you placed. You can switch between a normal map and a satellite map, between 2D and 3D maps. You can get snapshots of the maps or just a screenshot of what you see. And you can even plan a route and show your customer where to drive to reach you. And you can get back the routes as JSON, so you actually can see the data with the individual steps. And we have a lot of more where I had to, remove the slides because of the limited time. But we have regular expressions, so you can search a pattern within your text. We can work with Word files where we load a Word file and replace placeholder with new values, or just extend tables to fit in more rows. We can schedule scripts to run later at a certain time or when the user is idle, so you can automatically log out users if they're doing nothing. We have file functions where you can copy, move, delete files. You can mount network shares and copy files over automatically on your server at night. We have hotkeys, so you can define a key combination to trigger a script, even if FileMaker is in the background, but you can then switch FileMaker to the foreground. We have functions to work with the address book, calendars and reminders database on a Mac, so you can fill in all your contacts from the FileMaker database into the address book, have it sync through the cloud to your iPhone or Android devices, so you actually see the name of the caller when they are calling. We can even run JavaScript in the web viewer on Mac and Windows and iOS, so you can just call any JavaScript code you have on the web viewer. We even have the bridge back, so you can talk to the plugin. And you can fill form fields in a web viewer. For our Mac users, we have a couple of syntax highlighting features. So we have a rule-based system to color the scripts and the calculations. So we highlight, for example, long brackets. We have contextual menus in several places, so you can just copy the list of accounts or the list of custom functions. When you are in the script, we highlight you the loop boundaries, so you see where the loop is starting, where the loop is exited, where the loop is ending. You can search the relationship graph for something, and you can search in the script, and we show you which lines contain the text you are searching for. You can jump into lines by the number, and we show you the IDs for scripts, layout, fields, and tables within the user interface of FileMaker. And that's a good thing, because when you're triggering a script via the plugin, you can trigger it by the name or by the ID. And same with our SQL functions. A lot of SQL functions accept field IDs instead of field names, because the names may change often, but the ID stays the same. We can also remember the column width for your layout management dialog and the field list, so you don't need to resize the columns every time. Here's an example of our zoom feature, where you can, when you do a presentation, use the plus button on top and just zoom in to the script. The users will appreciate it. And also we have the button to copy the text of the script, so you can just copy the text and paste it in a community when you are asking a question and want to show your script. When you are doing a calculation, you can use the Command F shortcut to show the find field, and you can search within your calculation or custom functions. You can also replace text. So if you search for a variable name and you want to replace it with a new name, it's very easy. And as we had the search, we also added the search for other lists within the FileMaker user interface. So you can search in the list of custom functions, or in the list of fields, or even in the list of your variables in the data viewer. That's very convenient. When you're exporting, you can use our tooltips to see what table a field is from, what data type it is. Is it a global field? Is it a calculation? Is it a calculated field? So you can decide to not export the global fields, for example, without knowing what the name schema is. We got a website, a blog, some videos on the website, and please sign up for our newsletter or get a trial license key on the website. If you have any questions, we have a booth over there where you can learn more. Thank you for coming.